Stop scrolling. What you're about to hear is not a story. It's a warning. A man named David Miller died for 23 minutes, and what he saw after that changed everything he believed about life, death, and God. He was a 46-year-old husband, father of 2, and a man who had spent most of his life convinced that heaven and hell were just metaphors. A good man by the world's standards, hard-working, kind, but distant from faith. He used to say, "If there's a God, he'll understand that I tried my best." But on the night of February 9th, everything changed.
David, hey, David, wake up! I need—
David suffered a massive heart attack in his sleep. His wife, Anna, woke to the sound of his body hitting the floor. She called 911, her hands shaking, screaming his name over and over. By the time paramedics arrived, David had no pulse, no heartbeat, no sign of life. For 23 minutes he was clinically dead. And yet, in that darkness, his story didn't end. He said it began with silence. Not peaceful silence, but an emptiness that pressed against his soul. Then, faintly, he began to hear something. A sound, distant at first, like 1,000 cries echoing through a cave. He looked around, but there was no ground beneath his feet, no light, just endless, living shadow. Then he felt it, heat. Not the kind that warms, but the kind that burns without consuming. He said, it was like the air itself was made of pain. And then, he heard voices. Not 1 or 2, but millions. Screaming, pleading, cursing. Voices that sounded human, yet hollow, stripped of hope. David realized he wasn't dreaming. He was standing in a place where time didn't exist, where every regret screamed louder than the next. And he knew, somehow, he was in hell. David began to see more clearly. Shapes moved within the fire, not bodies, not flames, but shadows of memories. He realized that every scream, every cry he heard, wasn't random. It was a life. A soul reliving every moment it had rejected love. He saw rivers of fire flowing through a dark valley, but the fire didn't burn like earthly fire. It revealed. Every soul glowed for a moment, showing its story. Flashes of greed, betrayal, cruelty. Then dimmed again, swallowed by the dark. The fire was not punishment. It was truth. David said, I could see their faces, but they weren't looking at anyone. Each one stared into nothing, trapped in their own echo. He wanted to reach out, to help, to pull them away, but his hand passed through the air like smoke. There was no ground beneath him, only shifting, weightless pain. Then he noticed something else. The fire had a rhythm, like breathing, and inside that rhythm was a will. Something was watching him. Not a creature, not a demon, but something older, larger, colder than any nightmare. The air bent around its presence. The screams fell silent. Even the fire stopped moving.
Then came the voice.
Then came the voice. It wasn't loud, but it carried through every particle of existence. It said, "This is what separation feels like." David fell to his knees. He tried to speak, but no words came. He felt the crushing weight of every moment he had chosen comfort over compassion, pride over prayer, self over love. He realized this place wasn't made for him. It was made by people like him, by choices made without God. He screamed into the void, "Please, I understand now. I believe." And for a long moment, there was nothing. Just the sound of his own voice, echoing back like thunder in an empty world. Then, suddenly, the darkness trembled. The fire froze in midair. And from above, A light appeared, faint at first, then growing brighter, like dawn breaking through eternal night. David raised his head, eyes blinded by the glow. The same voice spoke again. This time, not from the fire, but from the light itself. Enough. David said that the moment that word was spoken, everything stopped. The fire, the screams, even the pain. All of it dissolved into silence. He was no longer falling. He was rising. A warmth unlike anything he had ever known filled him. Not the heat of hell, but the comfort of being known completely and still loved. He felt arms, not physical, but pure light, lifting him upward. The world of darkness faded beneath him until it was just a distant ember. He saw flashes as he rose. His wife Anna, kneeling beside his body, crying out his name. His children sleeping in another room. The paramedics working frantically, shouting for a heartbeat that wasn't there. Then the light around him grew brighter, brighter than the sun, yet soft, alive, and breathing with peace. And within that light, a presence appeared. Not a man, not a form, but love itself. David said it was impossible to describe, but he somehow knew it was Jesus. He didn't see a face. He didn't need to. He said, "When I was there, I knew I was standing before the truth itself." And then, the voice spoke again, the same one that had said, "Enough." But now it was filled with tenderness. "You have seen what it means to be without me. Now go, and tell them what it means to be with me." David tried to answer, but tears replaced words. He felt weightless again, not falling, returning. The light became air, the air became sound, the sound became pain. And then, a jolt. He gasped. Cold air filled his lungs. Shouts filled the room. Someone cried, "We have a pulse!" He opened his eyes. Flashing lights. Voices. Anna's face, soaked in tears, smiling and trembling at once. He whispered, voice cracking, "He showed me. Love never leaves." And from that day forward, David dedicated his life to telling this story. He said he wasn't sent back to prove heaven or hell, but to remind people that both begin here, in the choices we make, and that the difference between them is love. Whenever people asked him what hell felt like, he would look down, take a deep breath, and answer softly, "It's not fire. It's being forgotten by love." Then he would smile, and with tears in his eyes say, "Don't be afraid of dying. Be afraid of living without love."